Guys, this really isn't meant to be funny. It's actually pretty sad, to be honest with you. I'm going to show you a clip here of well, not a clip, a screenshot here of, supposed $100,000 unrealized loss. And the reality is that one could say, oh, this is funny, and not really mean it as in a comical way. I think it's just downright sad. And it is actually, I could say this in this way, it's kind of funny. Because just a few days ago, a friend of mine told me about somebody he knew that was in a similar predicament. I wonder if it's the same person. I don't know. I don't think they'd be down that much. Because I think if they were down this much, then they'd be blowing up, really. But it was a very similar story to this. Now, I'm going to show it to you really quickly here. We're going to read it together. And then I'm going to give you my ideas and thought process on what I would have done if I were in their shoes. All right. But before we move any further, do me a quick favor. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Remember, I stream on weekdays at 8 a.m. for pre-market. And check out the daytraderchatroom.com. Link in the description and comment section down there. DTC Lite and DTC Pro students. And we always have a ton of fun and a lot of education in our live streams and in the dashboard with all my courses. Now, make sure you check that out and trade ideas with the coupon code down there as well. Now, check this out. This is a screenshot I took off the internet, and the screenshot reads, I convinced my wife to sell the house and buy the dip. I told her if we sell our house now, we can buy a bigger house in the future. So we sold the house and now we're living in my parents' house. Do you guys think we should sell the stock now and accept the fact that we lost $100,000 in 3 months? Question mark. It hurts to read that. Honestly, look, I'll put myself in their shoes and I can, that's devastating. That $100,000. Look, if you make $100,000 in a year, that's amazing. Think about it this way. It takes you a whole year to make $100,000 and you lost it in 3 months. Yes, you can make it back, but was it worth the risk? Did you actually approach this with a good plan, right? You guys remember if we go back towards the start of the year, when we had our first dip in the SPY, I told you guys, and it got bought up, I think it was right off the 50-day moving average, to say, guys, I don't think this is a Bible dip. I think, in fact, this is a sucker's rally. I did it in a YouTube short. I was like, it's still on my channel. I think, guys, this is a sucker's rally. And just the other day, I did another one. There was another similar situation. I said, guys, this is a sucker's rally. Guys, this guy, I couldn't know, like, I don't know what stocks he's invested in. Okay, so this is the way I would approach this. If he was invested in straight up garbage stocks, not profitable companies, not the Nvidias, the Apples, the Googles of the world, right? Not the Microsofts. If he's not in that stuff and he's in just trash stuff that isn't profitable, or just one stock, he just wrote stock, sell the stock, God, then I, would probably say, yeah, I'd just book the loss and move on with my life. God, that's such a big loss, man. Hopefully he had a few $100,000s in there, and let's say he had $300,000 positions down 100,000. That's that's a hefty chunk, but at least you have a couple $100,000 still there. Go buy a house and get your family right again. I mean, that's what I would say. He's asking the question. That's my answer as far as an opinion goes. If that were the case. Now, if all you had was $200,000. And you're down 100, you're down 50%, you still have 100K in your hand. If you're in a trash company, I'd take my last 100K and run like the wind. Run like the wind. You see, it's when you put it all on one stock. If this was a trade or a long-term investment, I don't understand how people do this to themselves. If you're going to approach it as a long-term investment, then the best thing one can do, if they don't want to get educated as far as learning what companies are good, what companies are bad, what looks like a good investment, what looks like a bad investment, then the best thing to do is invest in an ETF. SPY, VTI, which is a Vanguard Total Market Index Fund, just put it in an ETF, forget about it, right? That's like the best opinion anyone can give regarding long-term investment for somebody that doesn't want to deal with any type of education, just buy the SPY, that's an S&P index, ETF. Buy VTI, for example. Maybe spread it amongst a few different ETFs. I own a few different ETFs. I own VTI. I own VYM, right? I own a few different VFH. I like Vanguard. So, spread it amongst that. If you're going to try to learn how to properly invest, then look at good companies. There's a reason why Microsoft is still around. There's a reason why Google is still around, right? Alphabet. There's a reason why Apple is one of the biggest holdings for most people out there. One of the biggest holdings that some of the greatest investors of all time have. There's a reason why these companies are where they're at, right? And that's because they're generally pretty safe. And buying pullbacks on them is generally pretty safe because over the long haul, they're very profitable companies. The S&P 500 over the course of 30 years has an average return rate of 10 to 12%. Doesn't sound like much, right? But it's a whole lot more than what you would get by putting it in the bank or putting it in something that might make you lose $100,000 out of nowhere, right? So these are all things that one should really consider. That's a tough spot to be in. And my heart, honestly, authentically, my heart goes out to that person if that's a real post. And whether or not that's a real post is irrelevant because that happens all the time in the real world. People see, oh my God, tech is going to the boom, to boom. It's going to the moon. Every time there's a big dip, it gets bought up. Told you guys at the beginning of 2022, this dip was different. This dip wasn't going to be the same because this dip doesn't have trillions of dollars being injected into the economy like every other dip for the last year and a half or so. And that makes a difference. So now is a time where I think there's going to be a lot of wealth made in the long run, not over the next 12 months, but there's a lot of good stuff to buy right now, and then there's going to be a lot more cheaper stuff, in my opinion, throughout the rest of the year to buy for the long-term hold. When I say long-term, I apply it towards me, which means 10 to 20-year holds on good companies. What are some good companies? Well, for me, what am I looking at? I'm looking at those ETFs I mentioned earlier. I'm looking at companies like, obviously, Apple, Google, which I already opened up my position in, my starter, obviously. I'm looking at some speculative plays, which I've shared with my members over at the Discord, some like SoFi. And why? Well, because I like to diversify. I like to put the bulk in good stuff that I know is more than likely always going to be around here. I like to put the bulk in good ETFs, and then I have a little play money that I put into some stuff like SoFi, which I think maybe has a good long-term type of potential. But it's important to get educated, guys. And like I always say, you don't have to get educated by me. If you're an active trader, you don't have to get educated by me, right? I have full courses for day trading, the daytraderchatroom.com for DTC Pro members. And I go through daily lessons with my DTC Lite and DTC Pro members as well, okay? Those links are down there. You can come join me whenever you want. It's always available. So it's none of that, oh, we're closing off memberships to try to create hype. No, that's not, we don't do that stuff. It's all authentic. It's all there. It's all real. And it's in the comment section below and in the description section. All right. So guys, just be careful out there. Get educated. I really feel bad for people like that happens to. The good thing is if he invested in a good company and just got a little bit carried away, well then, over time, more than likely he'll make that back. All right, guys, so that's it for me today. I hope you learned something. I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, smash that like button for me and consider joining the daytraderchatroom.com. You can become a DTC Lite student or a DTC Pro student and have access to all the courses and every single piece of content. All right, DTC Lite, you get the live streams, the live recaps, the live trading, the live lessons, live Q&As, and a little bit more. So make sure you check out those links in the description and comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, I stream on weekdays at 8 a.m. for pre-market live streams there. So check that out, and I'll catch you on the next one.